This conversation tonight is really going to focus on that built world and how technology is affecting that built world. The technology we're going to talk about tonight is so cutting edge that I talked to the panelists just earlier. We don't even have a name for it yet. Here's the best we could come up with. We're going to talk about the technology of social aggregation and communication and how that's affecting the way we live in our cities, what we expect of our cities, and how we design our cities.
Really what Alchematter is a space so that a global community of thinkers and makers and doers can share their best practices and their knowledge so that any one individual becomes as smart as the group. But we also want to make it so that any design can be adaptable to local constraints.
How does technology connect us? How does it help us negotiate our world, both in terms of what we want to engage with, but also what we want to keep at bay? How is it a lens or a membrane? Everything from sensors on road networks, how could we collect data and help smooth traffic flows? How do we design buildings? Which buildings go where? What's their usage? What's their optimization? How do we connect with the community in order to determine what are the policies and sort of opportunities that this community should have? And the thing I want to underscore is that these things are imperfect, and that's probably what will make them wonderful and also what will make them frustrating. And I'm so glad of their imperfection, because I doubt we would actually want them to be perfect.
It's accelerating the movement of non-traditional and evolution of non-traditional work environments and work patterns. So we're seeing more free agents. We're seeing the growth of co-working facilities, whether those are official or whether those are Starbucks. And we're seeing more people who want to work non-standard hours in non-standard places. And that what really we should be worried about, and what technology facilitates, is work-life integration. And figuring out how we can integrate both of them into our lives, concede the fact that work is going to be present, but also then concede the fact that life can come into work, and that these aren't basically two separate things. And I think that when we look at these efficiencies, we look at what technology can add, is that we can create this unified whole, and it really permits us to be able to do those kinds of efficiencies together.
You know, we used to be skeptical that people would make the largest financial decision of their life from their phone, but now over half of our traffic comes from mobile devices. So we've got that access as a brokerage, and as a technology company, we're doing everything in our power to make sure that our customers have immediate access to that information. We believe that the way that we're doing this business dramatically reduces the reliance on long-term relationships and on sort of inside tracks or inside knowledge in order to have a really positive experience.
I was very interested in the dichotomy in the conversation, the utopia, dystopia, it's the best part of my life, it's the worst part of my life. And, the cities are going to get more concentrated, cities are going to get more spread out. And so I think it's really interesting that there's that tension, and that this technology and the prospect of technology scares the bejesus out of us and also excites us.
What do we value as a city? Who do we want to be? And which of these technologies actually get us closer to that?
Gosh, sacredness. Yes, one of our table mates talked about the notion of the sacredness of community and what that truly is. And we really underscored the role that Forterra plays in creating that sacredness, not only of our urban community, but also our natural environment that surrounds us. So.
Forterra is such a good convener, and there's a lot of people who are sort of thought leaders in the community movement that circle around Forterra. So we're wondering if perhaps Forterra could help to play a more consistent role in getting the great minds together to think about design criteria.
There's all this data, there's all this technology, but what's the story? And I think Forterra can tell a really important story about the quality of life in the region and how development in the city is very directly linked to the quality of the ecosystems outside of the city. And it seems like being able to tell that story and to kind of multi-generations and to, you know, across the all of the constituents is a really important thing that Forterra can continue to do.
What I came away with, and I think Kate and some other people have used this, technology is a tool. Technology is a hammer, technology is a tool. And it really depends on the humanity and the humility and the wisdom of all of us and how we use that tool. And we better get it right so that we use it as a net positive. But it really it comes back to our human skills and our humanity. And I thought that's what really came back in these discussions, is it's a tool that now is for humanity to use well or not.